Incorporated presents a Randomness Studios production. The structure of a cell. The smallest unit of life. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a biology class like no other. Today, class, we will be covering the structure of a cell. Before we begin our demonstration, I must inform you of a few major points. The first is as follows. Recall from previous chapters that the cell is the smallest unit of life. Therefore, it is much too small to be seen by the naked eye. Second, that all cells at one time contain DNA, which makes each type of cell unique. And third, that anything smaller than a cell is non-living. Now, without any further ado, let's move on with the show. Now, first we will be observing the plant cell. Unlike animal cells, plant cells have three extra parts we will be going over momentarily. This is a plant cell. Like any other kind of cell, it has a main control center called a nucleus, which is located here. The nucleus contains nearly all of the cell's DNA, and with it, the coded instructions for making proteins and other important molecules. Located at the center of the nucleus is the nucleolus. The nucleolus is where the assembly of ribosomes begins. Surrounding the nucleus is a thin membrane called the nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope is covered with thousands of pores which allow material to move into and out of the nucleus. Remember how I mentioned that the function of the nucleolus was to begin the production of ribosomes? Ribosomes are small particles of RNA and protein found throughout cytoplasm. They produce proteins by following coded instructions that come from the nucleus. Cells that are active with protein synthesis, or the production of proteins, are often packed with ribosomes. Eukaryotic cells also contain an internal membrane system known as the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is the site where lipid components of the cell membrane are assembled, along with proteins and other materials that are exported from the cell. Rough ER is abundant in cells that produce large amounts of proteins for export. In many cells, the smooth ER contains collections of enzymes that perform specialized tasks, including the synthesis of membrane lipids and the detoxifying of drugs. Proteins produced in the rough ER move next into an organelle called the Golgi apparatus. The function of the Golgi apparatus is to store, modify, and package proteins and other materials from the endoplasmic reticulum for storage in the cell or secretion outside of the cell. One of the parts of a cell that is unique to only plant cells is the vacuole. The vacuole is a sac-like structure that stores materials such as water, salts, proteins, and carbohydrates. Knowing that plants make their own food, vacuoles are very important to plant cells during photosynthesis. Nearly all eukaryotic cells, including plant cells, contain mitochondria. Mitochondria are organelles that convert the chemical energy stored in food into compounds that are convenient for the cell to use. Another organelle that plant cells have that animal cells don't have are chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are organelles that capture the energy from the sun and convert it into chemical energy in a process called photosynthesis. Inside these organelles are large sacs of green pigments called chlorophyll. The last feature that plant cells have that animal cells do not have are cell walls. Cell walls surround the cell membrane of the plant cells and create a shell of extra support. Now let's take a 5-second break because I know your head hurts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's get back to the matter at hand. Animal cells. Because plant cells and animal cells are pretty much the same, I trust you are paying attention. I'll just cut to the one thing animal cells have that plants wouldn't dream of having. Okay, technically plant cells don't dream, but that's not the point. Obviously, this is an animal cell. Here is the cell membrane. I don't know how to pronounce that, but these are the centrioles. Centrioles are located near the nucleus and help to organize cell division. This is the nucleus. Here is the nucleolus. Here's the nuclear envelope. These are ribosomes. Rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The Golgi apparatus discovered by the Italian scientist Camillo Golgi. And finally, the mitochondria. Okay, it's safe. You can all take a breather. It's over. No, really, it's over. Go away already.